This is the phenomenal trainer, Ann Wolfe, 8-time boxing champion, and she just told me in 4 different weight classes, all right? And she worked with Trevante on this. So before he comes, Ann, what was it like when you first met Trevante and he told you he wanted to do this thing with Mike and he wanted you to train him?
Well, I got a few calls and I was like, dude, Mike Tyson? Are you sure? That's what you know, and I got calls after calls and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then when I saw him, I could tell that he was looking at me like I was looking at him like, can she do this? And I was looking at him like, can you do that? And then it just like after a week or so, it fell into play because we're both kind of alike, perfectionists.
Yeah, I mean that was amazing. You know, just seeing you transform into Tyson. So tell us about when you first met Ann, when you walked into the gym the first time.
When I walked into the gym, actually, bro, when I walked into the gym the first time, I had just got this gallon of water, this water jug thing that I carry. And when I walked in, I dropped it, and it broke. And then like all the fighters in there looked at me, and I just looked like putz. You know what I mean? It's like we in there with like. And I just knew she was just like, but then, you know, she just has this like beautiful, warm, welcoming, but stern and strong spirit, a lot like my mom. So I just felt at home.
And how long did you train with Ann?
We did a full camp, so we did like 3 months. So we did a full camp.
Wow, that's intense.
Oh, we did a little bit more. We did a full camp, but it was dope.
We did about 3 months before the fight, and then maybe about why they were filming.
And at what point when you started working with him did you say, okay, he got it now?
I'm gonna just say I knew he had a mom, like I am a trainer. I knew this to be true, so I was like, he's gonna listen, because I know he had been listening to someone tell him what he needed to do, whether he wanted to do it or not. So I was like, I got this, because I knew it was not just the feminine part about it, but just like he believed in strong women.
And Trey, what was the hardest part of the training?
Well, man, I'm an athlete, man. We got a lot of my boys in here, so it's like we ran track in the heat. You know what I mean? We was running in 120 on the track. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was like the hardest part was. I'll give you a hard part. It was fun, man. It was like college, bro. It was like the hardest part is maybe now because she beat me up right now. She like yesterday she was knocking me up. So it's like we getting good. So that's the hardest part, getting good.
I mean, I think that's what makes this thing so authentic for me. You know, just seeing you. I mean, your calves look like Tyson. Did you have to bulk up, put on a lot of weight?
Nah, that's me, baby.
Okay. You weren't that big at UT though when you were running.
It was track, bro. That's why I didn't. You know, actually. When Coach saw Billie Holiday, Bubba saw Billie Holiday, he's like, ha, brother, if you would have been that light, you would have broke 10. Because it was like I was like $170 then. But nah, man, it's just what we are, I guess.
And why is it people say that training a boxer is the most difficult training in any other sport? What makes the boxing training so different than any other kind of training, in your opinion?
Well, I would say that boxing is the second difficult part of training. Being a parent is the first, hands down. So for me, it was like you have to do things like MMA, you get a break. Here you get a break. There you get a break. You get a break, you get a break. When you're boxing, you don't get a break. So when T came to me, he was like, I really want to do it. I was like, look, dude, I'm not going to train you like an actor. They're scared you're going to get popped, right, kicked, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm going to train you like a real, true fighter. And once I began to train him, it was this look in his eyes that was like this. He believed in me and I believed in him. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the fame. It was about the two of us believe in each other.
Oh, that's awesome. And then, Trey, you executive produced this as well. Why was it important for you to bring this Mike Tyson biography to the screen?
Well, for me, man, as a creative, I try to give people a bit of my perspective, a bit of my life and my work. So I'm very specific in what I choose to do. And this Mike's story is really, really reflective of my family in a lot of ways. And so I like to say, like, Moonlight, I was blessed. Moonlight is my blue. The Billie Holiday film I just did is my yellow, and this is my red. And so now my prime colors are out, so I could do what I want to do. But so it was just like, I had to, like, as a creative, I felt like constipated until I could give people a story that, because I passed on so many, like, action pieces because they didn't have, I was blessed to, like, be gifted into this form. I was blessed with an entry like Moonlight that gifted you such depth with it. And so for me, man, being an athlete and having all this athleticism, I needed to not just do an action piece that was just an action piece to make bread and, you know, get to the people, but it, like, do something that was emotional and really touch my spirit, and, you know what I mean, touch my family's spirit. And, like, you know what I mean, that was me, because that's me. And again, like, I also like to say, you know what I mean, I'm the Mike Tyson of my peer group. Like all the other actors, like, in my peer group, I'm the energy of this is me, so I had to show them in this way.
No, you did it, man. You did that thing. And let me talk to you about, can I talk about Cus D'Amato for a minute?
Yes, of course.
How do, as a trainer, I mean, one thing that made Ali unique was that he was vicious, but he was from a middle-class background. How do you, because it seems like a lot of boxers come from rough backgrounds, right? And how do you get them to channel that in the boxing ring, but also to some extent turn it off when they leave? If that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't matter if you're from a poor background, from a middle-class background. When you get in that ring, it doesn't matter. So for me, his guy sent me the question, and they said, what makes it different? What makes it different between, is it okay, is it regular, how is it? When I looked at Trevante, whether it was boxing, movie, a kid, a man, it was a connection. So once you get a connection with another human being who wants the same thing you want, ooh, shit. You got two people you have to deal with. Then connection with the family, my family, his family, then ooh, shit. You got a whole goddamn clan that you have to deal with. And when you get those different entities mixed in together, it doesn't matter if you were poor. Both of my parents died when I was 18 years old. Wow. His mom is up there. But I don't know his background. I don't know what he's been through. But when I look in his eyes, I see something that's beyond money, something that's beyond just wanting to make sure that everyone knows who he is. It's that connection that says, I want to do something. Do you want to do it with me? And if people can't understand what we're talking about, so be it.
So the chemistry is important.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
How long did it take for y'all to hit it off?
It's instantly, bro. That's the
On
vibe,
site,
man.
huh?
That's the vibe, bro. That's the vibe. Yeah. You always, whenever you with like-minded, you always connect instantly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thieves always recognize each other. You feel me?
That's awesome. I don't know if y'all were coming of age during Tyson's prime, but I used to hear older black folk talk about and what it was like when Joe Louis was going to fight that night. And I know growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, when Mike was fighting, you know, people talked about it all week. You know, then we like, man, are we going to pay the $40 for pay-per-view because it's going to be over in one round, you know? But I think this thing is going to be dynamic. You know, Trey, I am super duper proud of you. And what I love about biopics, I'm really into, you know, what has shaped a person. And I want to ask you this. In the first 2 episodes, you really highlight the relationship between him and his mom. Right. But you throw in a nugget there where he says his mom was a nurse, she was a dietitian, and then she got caught up with Mike's dad, which kind of led her down the wrong path. So why did you really choose to highlight the relationship between him and his mom?
I chose to highlight, well, I wanted to lean into the relationship between his mother simply because of my relationship with my mother, like holistically, in reference to how I relate to Mike's story in general. Our other producer, Karin Gist, wanted to lean into the specificity of that particular story because she wanted to show the variance. And I mean, and then you have to be as honest as you can, and you have to tell the truth
right.
with the story. But she wanted to show the variance of how a strong black woman can be.
Yeah.
That was her. That's her thing as a creative.
And his mom she's very complex.
She's incredibly complex, and that's the point. Like, that's why he is such a complex individual.
And let me ask you, the Cus D'Amato, he was saying, you know, did Mike digest this idea, I'm a monster? You know, Cus D'Amato was saying that you're a monster, you know. But then in one clip, Tyson says, I'm disciplined, I'm a different person, but everybody looks at me like an animal. So, Ann, how would you, based on the first 2 episodes, as a trainer, how would you assess Cus D'Amato and his relationship with Tyson?
So, you know, my kids were like, watch your mouth. First, you become just this individual who is just like a baby, but you know you're a monster. Then you become a teenager, but you know you're a monster. So we do stupid shit when we're teenagers. We cry and whine when we're children. But when we try to become a man, I looked at my son the way I looked at him and says, and this isn't anything that you do in life. You have to take an ass whooping. You have to suffer and sacrifice to become whole so you can accomplish. If you're not willing to do that, it will not happen. Trevante's mother sacrificed, suffered, and became whole. In all little instances, I was telling him the other day, you have a fight within a fight within a fight within a fight. We live every day with a fight within a fight within a fight within a fight. We don't win all of them, but it's for us to win as many as we can. So the question is, are you going to be normal or are you going to be up here? You choose that.
Yeah. Trey, the first 2 episodes, what scene resonates with you the most?
Oh man, at the very end, when this is the last, whenever he's a champion and he doesn't feel whole because I guess Cus isn't there. But for me, it's like, you know what I mean, when you reach a certain goal and it's like it's not fulfilling because you don't understand yourself and what's fulfilling to, you know, all these things. So it's just like I've had that feeling. So shooting that scene, it was really interesting to me because it was like the whole shoot was reflective for me, which is again why I did it. But I love that scene because it just felt so reflective.
So the outward success doesn't necessarily
Ever.
Man. Wow. No, I mean that's heavy. You know. Yeah. And what about you? Which scene did you connect with the first 2 episodes?
The scene I connect with is when the guy tore the pigeon's head off. Mm-hmm. It's because my head's been torn off so many times.
Come on, sister.
So I'm going to fuck you up. Point blank. Because that's the only way I can survive at this particular moment. And then I'll fix all of what's wrong with me later on.
Yeah, I hear that.
That's coach, baby. That's coach.
Right. So Trey, at the end of the 8 episodes, what do you want people to walk away with?
Oh man, just from a selfish, you know, we'll start there. Just a smidgen of my creative ability, and you know what I mean. What we trying to do and put into the world, like we trying to make Tom Cruise action. So this is my step into that. You know what I mean. So it's like gifting. You know, it's mostly for like the studio and the people who have like the keys to show them that they need to give me all the good shit so I can go make this good shit. That's all. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So and you know to show everybody else that we can get out here and dance with the best of them because that's what we do.
So you're saying as black actors and actresses, we get pigeonholed often?
I mean, I do because I like to do what I want. Like I do what I want. You know what I mean? Period. And so it's like, you know what I mean? But so that's why it's my way. But that's why I chose to do this. That's what it is.
Versatility. That's awesome.
Not even just the versatility. So you know I'm gonna do what the fuck I want because I'm Mike Tyson.
That is why I love
creative.
And that is why I do this, because he's going to do what he wants, but he's going to come back and he may ask his mom in the privacy of, Mom, should I do this? My little baby boy, should I? But when he comes down to the come
He's gonna do what he
down,
want to do.
he's just like me.
Well,
I'm going to do what I want.
Well, how much pressure is there in Hollywood to follow a script?
All of it, bro. That's why, again, like, that's why my career is the way it is. I don't have an agent or a manager. I have my dog Andre. We do everything ourselves, and so it's like we outside, and so that's why I take a minute. But we outside and we know how to do everything. So we Mike Tyson. We
That's
dangerous.
awesome. That's awesome. So what's next for you after this?
Everything. I got another one. We got a movie. Appreciate that. We got a movie called Bruiser dedicated to my son that comes out. We're gonna do TIFF, which is the start of the award circuit. That comes out next month, and then it's we're gonna try to do another. Give y'all a little movie that's real cool to juxtapose. It's a completely different thing, but it's called Bruiser because it's connected. I'm gonna give you this too. I like to. In 2018, I did a 3-piece called Soldier Story. All those movies were a soldier, and so my next 3-piece is The Fighter. So it's like Mike Tyson plus Bruiser plus this other thing. I'm gonna ask Coach to help coordinate that we're gonna do out in Thailand, kind of like Jean-Claude Van Damme's Bloodsport. Okay. So to finish the trilogy with The Fighter, we're gonna do something like that too. So
Well, folks, there it is. Can we give Trevante and Ann a hand? All right.